You need your best players to be the best people on your team. He's definitely one of them. Love spending time with him. Love just watching him. I mean, there's at least one time of practice he does something. He kind of looking back at Todd and Hack and Rob. I was looking back going, wow. At some point, possibly the best corner and the best receiver in the NFL is a legit possibility, I think, for those two guys. Maybe not this upcoming year. I still think Devontae is in a league of his own. But those two kids are so talented. But I want to see just more communication between the whole team. That's how we take the next step, is to talk about the things that give us the most issues, to talk about release issues and also what's hard on Garrett. And then Sauce, telling Garrett what's hard on him. So, but I think right now we got good communication with those guys. They battle, they compete.
Aaron Rodgers choosing words carefully, doesn't want to excessively praise new receiver Garrett Wilson so that people would think he no longer regards Davante Adams as such a great receiver. So he threw that in there. But Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, both rookies of the year last year, offensive and defensive, and Rodgers sees the possibility they could be the best two at their position in the NFL.
Yeah, they're pretty special. We know that. And listen, I think he's right. See, that's where Rodgers is cool, though, too. Even though Davante Adams, took some shots about going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer and all that kind of crap, all whatever, right? He's still aware of how great Davante is. He gives him his credit. He knows Garrett Wilson's not there yet, so he doesn't want to give him that praise. But, man, Wilson's one of those guys, route runner, explosive. We know what Sauce Gardner is. He shut down island corner. I mean, the Jets got a ton of talent, like we talked about. They're dangerous. They are. And it sounds like they got some mojo going on there. Anybody you talk to around that team, in the media, whatever, there's definitely positive vibes. I know we got to see it on the football field, but Aaron Rodgers has definitely lifted that building in like we've talked about with a lot of great quarterbacks. When they're in the locker room, they just go, wait, he's here. We can win. And he's, I think, had that effect on the Jets already.
But I also do think at a certain level, Aaron Rodgers has really thrown himself into everything, and he's trying to create the impression for the folks in Green Bay that I'm happy.
Yeah, sure.
I'm happy to not be there.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. The best revenge is living well, and here I am doing all this stuff.
I'm at the Tonys, baby.
And everybody appreciates me, and, they're going to listen to me. I still would love to know the whole story on how mandatory minicamp got canceled. I have a feeling that a question was asked at a minimum by Aaron Rodgers about why we need this since we're showing up early for the start of training camp. We play in the Hall of Fame game, and that's a way to curry favor with the players, but it also shows the power that he can have. And remember, he's still holding over them how they're going to restructure his contract. Right now, he's on the books for the lowest possible amount, the veteran minimum salary, that $58.3 million guaranteed option bonus that he was due to make this year got pushed to next year, because even though he hates the Packers, he did a favor for them cap-wise on the way out the door. But they still have to work this thing out. How much comes back to this year? How are they going to strike this balance? Is he maybe going to take less than the $108 million he's due to make over the next 2 years? Until that's resolved, that does give him an extra layer of influence, because they're going to tiptoe around him even more, because they stand to save some money if he decides, I love it here so much. You know what? Let's take that 108. Let's make it 85. That's an extreme reduction. Let's make it 95. Whatever it is, every dollar they save is money they can spend on other players. So there's reason for them. It's all new, but also this contract thing, all the more reason for the Jets to make sure they're doing everything in their power to make and keep Aaron Rodgers happy.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with anything you said there. They traded the farm for the guy. He's the man. They needed a king or a superstar to come to town to try to save this thing. So yeah, they are going to be delicate and tiptoe. One, because of what you're saying, and two, because they know he's freaking awesome and they want him to feel good so he can lead their team in an awesome way too. So there's a lot that goes into that for sure. But yeah, Rodgers definitely got a little power and something over them here. It's nice to see the player have that over the team every now and then.
By the way, before we go any farther, somebody put this in all caps in the document we share, and I can't let this go. Apparently, Rodgers said in his press conference last week that he was stuck in New Jersey, New York for a few extra days because his flights took the mandatory minicamp into account. This is the way to throw dirt on the idea that he had anything to do with the cancellation of the mandatory minicamp. And I'm sorry, Chris, when you have that kind of money, what flights do you have to take into account? You pick up your phone, assuming you're not at home and you have no cell service, and you call someone and say, I want to fly home. Take that down. That's not a conspiracy. That's a fact. Rich people don't have to take the flight schedule into account.
Yeah.
Rich people make a phone call and the plane's waiting for them.
You're rich and you take things into account about money all the time. So don't tell me about his richness and what he does with his money.
I'm not Aaron Rodgers
okay?
rich.
All
I'm
right.
not Aaron Rodgers rich. All right, we'll move on.
Okay. Oh, you didn't let us go down that road? Or you want to like that? You want to change the subject
Matt
now,
Casey
huh?
says let's move
Oh
on.
no, I don't think he did. I think he laughed. I heard a little giggle in my ear.
He laughed, and he said let's move on.
Hey, I will say though, with Rodgers in that situation, I'm sure he had some say. Listen, minicamp though, I do think like it's minicamp is just another 3 OTAs, but there's an extra hour of work. It's no big deal. I think Saleh, like a lot of the guys when we talked about, they push the limits in practice. They're aggressive, and they get to a point at the end too where, hey, Rodgers might have said, hey, we're good or whatever. Who knows what he said? I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I don't think it was like they were definitely going to have practice, and then Rodgers walked in and was like, I don't think we should have it. And they were like, okay, we'll listen to you. I think they were probably kicking around that idea a little bit. And like we talked about, they're one of those teams like the 49ers. It's psychos. So they get to the end of OTAs and stuff, and they're just like, okay, we made it. We made it. It was all gas, no brakes, and we made it, and nobody's hurt, so let's just get to the training camp. And I think there's a real legitimacy to that.
It is hard, though, to sell all gas, no brakes when you slam on the brakes and cancel the mandatory minicamp.
Right.
I mean, you may want to revise your saying a little bit if you are all gas, no brakes. Okay, so back to Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. What's the trajectory for these two? They start off great, rookies of the year, respectively. I feel like Gardner's got the higher ceiling. Like, Wilson's still going to be great, but there's so many other great receivers out there. It's going to be hard for him to be in that Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill territory. I feel like Gardner's going to be the best corner in football by the end of this year, if not sooner.
I don't think you can. I think you could put Garrett Wilson maybe in that conversation too. Right, Sauce I would say probably has an advantage. I would think, but listen, I don't think. I think most people around football definitely think Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, right, Trayvon Diggs in Dallas. I'm missing a few others here and there. Jair Alexander are all in that conversation for top 4, top 5 cover corners in all of football. There's no question. You're right. I think he's there. I think most people probably look at it and go, oh, him or Patrick Surtain right now in the NFL are the two, like, right now, lockdown island corners. Garrett Wilson, though, right offense, right system, he certainly exceeded my expectations of what I thought he could be coming out of Ohio State. He could be a guy in this offense that leads the NFL in receiving yards and has a lot of wow plays too. So these are two guys that, they could be offensive defensive player of the year too. Forget offensive defensive rookie of the year. They could also, continue this as they go.
Well, boy, that would be something. And if Garrett Wilson would have the kind of production to make him in the running for offensive player of the year, who's MVP for the 5th time in his career? It would be Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.